Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey.
Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to kill our We will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Jasmine Crockett recently.
Jasmine Crockett. Remember when I said, is she a relation to the late, great Davy Crockett? I don't think so. Jasmine Crockett, let me tell you, before you even ask, she's a very low IQ person. I mean, if we ever had to pass an aptitude test, that's the one should take one because she shouldn't even be in the crowd. So I have no idea what you're going to, but I don't think we should waste our time. This is a low IQ person who I can't even believe is a congressperson. Between her and Ilhan Omar.
Ilhan.
You know, I met the head of Somalia. Did you know that? And I suggested that maybe he'd like to take her back. And he said, I don't want her. Okay.
Oh, Trump, what did Trump say?
And the group. You know, I met the head of Somalia. Did you know that? And I suggested that maybe he'd like to take her back. And he said, I don't want her. Okay. What else? Go ahead. Let's hear what Crockett said. Go ahead.
She compared ICE raids to slave patrol. I want to ask you.
To slave?
To slave patrol. I want to ask you if you think that there should be consequences for members of Congress who make these types of comparisons or use this type of language.
Well, I think she's gone over the line, and I think a lot of the people. Look, the Democrats have become radical left lunatics. They have policies that nobody's going to buy. And, you know, I see what's going on in New York. We're going to have perhaps a communist mayor because it's split up. You know, if the people would get together and have one candidate, they'd have, I think, a pretty good chance. But it looks like maybe they're not going to do that. But we're going to end up with a communist mayor. It's not even believable, my beautiful New York. When I left New York to become president, it was a great place. But it was the beginning of bad things because we had de Blasio had just started as mayor, and I said, this guy's this guy's a real nut job. Went to Harvard to teach management. Can you believe it? He went to Harvard to teach city management along with the mayor of Chicago, who went to Harvard to teach. The two of them are teaching how to manage a city manage it into hell is what they do. But that was the beginning, and now we're going to go a step further. Now we're going with the communists. Can I be honest? I think it's the greatest thing to ever happen to the Republican Party. I really do. I think if a communist takes over New York City, I think that's a gift to the Republican Party. It's sad for New York, but it's a gift. And New York will recover because, you know, sometimes you need a shock like that to straighten you out. But it's politically, it's probably a very good thing.
And Dave Rubin had a really, really great take on this. Let's check this out, y'all.
What that displays for not just Americans, but folks on an international platform is that our country is being led by idiots.
It's a general rule across Western society that you shouldn't marry your brother. Has anyone in here married nobody here has married their brother. You don't marry your brother.
You don't marry your brother lover. Oh boy.
You know, we don't have to really elaborate on that. I don't think you have to Google anything. I think, well, but don't marry your brother. Don't marry your sister. Not a big deal. Unfortunately, Ilhan Omar has. It is starting to break forth. And Donald Trump, you know Donald Trump, he starts teasing stuff. People tell him he's a racist. And 2 years later, they're like, oh, the racist guy got it all right. Well, look at this from Donald Trump on Truth Social. Ilhan Omar's country of Somalia is plagued by a lack of central government control, persistent poverty, hunger, resurgent terrorism, piracy, decades of civil war, corruption, and pervasive violence. 70% of the population lives in extreme poverty and widespread food insecurity. Somalia is consistently ranked among the world's most corrupt countries, including bribery, embezzlement, and a dysfunctional government. All of this, and Ilhan Omar tells us how to run America. P.S. Wasn't she the one that married her brother in order to gain citizenship? What scum we have in our country telling us what to do and how to do it. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America Great Again. And what, of course, you are seeing, Mike, you can leave that up for just a sec. What you are seeing right there is Ilhan Omar's marriage license application. It is finally breaking forth. This is so, you know, I was talking about the airlock, right? Somehow the mainstream media, you can come back. The mainstream media always is basically an airlock. All of us out here on the internet, crazy internet people on the Wild West, the frontier of everything, we're just talking about trying trying to work it through. We get some things right, some things wrong. But generally, whether it's COVID or Russia, or very fine people, like we're getting to the truth quicker. And then the mainstream media basically exists as the airlock. And every now and again, something breaks through the airlock or something becomes so obvious the airlock can no longer contain it. That would be, for example, last June when Joe Biden when Joe Biden during that debate just had the full-on breakdown that we all knew was obvious, but it was so damn obvious that the airlock could not contain it. Next thing you know, the next day on CNN, everyone's repeating what we've all been saying for years. The Ilhan thing has been bouncing around the internet for it could be 4 years at this point, right? And now finally Donald Trump is going for it. Ilhan knows she is in some hot water and, well, she's trying to offer some tepid defense. Take a look.
He's uneducated enough to understand that members of Congress can't be impeached. You know, when you have Nancy and Randy saying, you know, we're on it, we're going to impeach her, when they're saying they're going to deport me, knowing full well that you cannot deport an American citizen, what that displays for not just Americans, but folks on an international platform is that our country is being led by idiots.
Well, sorry, Ilhan, but not only did everything you say there, is everything that you said there a lie and backwards, it turns out there's some factual evidence into why we can get rid of someone like you. This from Real AR on X. Once again, the know-it-all knows nothing. A naturalized citizen can lose their citizenship through a process called denaturalization, which could potentially lead to a deportation if certain conditions are met. Examples include providing false information during the naturalization process, committing serious crimes, treason or terrorism-related offenses could trigger denaturalization proceedings. So she married her brother for immigration purposes for her brother, so that could qualify as that. And then as it pertains to terrorism or some of those other things, I think this I don't have evidence of this. This is my belief around her and Rashida Tlaib and some of these other people. They are going to find, either through a RICO case or something, they are going to find high-level coordination between people like them and these NGOs that are putting people out on the streets, that are working with, you know, it's the Hamas crew and the Antifa crew that are committing acts of domestic terrorism and violence and much.
And y'all, I absolutely love how everybody literally is just, I mean, man, the video got more comments than views on the ABC News actual official page, official channel on this platform. And look at these comments. Everybody is calling this lady out, Ilhan Omar. Her citizenship should have been annulled as soon as the record shows she married her brother. She lied on her passport app. Why is she still here? Look, these comments got 10,000 likes, 7,000, 8,000 likes. Look, how is a radical Muslim in a position of such power in the U.S.? This woman hates this country and her agenda is to change this into an Islamic one. Insane. Let's please get rid of this horrible tumor once and for all. If you gain citizenship through fraud, you are out of here. Look at these comments. And this is on ABC's official channel, y'all. Look. Every last comment, you know, is against Ilhan Omar. Man. Now, usually sometimes we go to these pages, we go to the pages, you know, and check out stuff for the show like MSNBC, the fake news media. And you see a lot of, you know, deranged liberals, Democrats in there. You know, when you come to ABC's page, but no, these people want this lady out of here, deported, revoke her citizenship. Yeah, they say this heifer here is a fraud. And look, this and this is she a couple of days ago she went on the ABC, and this was just completely embarrassing. I mean, a complete disgrace. And if you look at her body language on here, you can tell it's like she knows she's in hot water and something's off. Like she looked like she just walked out the store and stole something. Check this out.
Joining us tonight is Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. Thank you so much, Congresswoman, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, in recent news, you have France that just yesterday, along with about a dozen other countries, said that they would recognize Palestinian statehood. Does it weigh on you, or what is your response that America really remains an outlier with its allegiance to Israel?
Yeah, I mean, it is a really good news that right now about nearly 75% of UN member states have recognized a Palestinian state. It is important for the United States to engage in a process where it does lead to that recognition. And join the rest of the world. We know that it is really important for us to do everything that we can to end the genocide that's taking place in Gaza, to have humanitarian access, to stop the starvation, and finally come to a resolution to this decade-long conflict that we have seen between the people of Palestine and the people of Israel.
In reaction to some comments that you had made about Charlie Kirk and his passing, President Trump recently referred to you as scum. He went on to call your home country, Somalia, saying it was plagued by a lack of central government control, persistent poverty, hunger, terrorism, piracy. He went on. What's your response to that and to others who have said you should go back to where you've come from?
Yeah. Well, it is disgusting for the President of the United States to disparage a country that we have devoted so much energy in helping stabilize. He certainly knows that Somalia does have a government. They're on their way in creating some strides to make sure that they have stability, security, and economic vitality. But also it is important for us to recognize just how wrong, xenophobic, bigoted it is for the President of the United States to join the online trolls in saying that I should be sent back to where I came from.
Your reaction, though, on the flip side to people who are saying, look, we often look to politicians as leaders and we need to turn the temperature down. And you've recently said that the country is being run by a bunch of idiots.
Mm-hmm. Well, our president is embarrassing on a national stage. You've seen him not understand that members of Congress can't be impeached, as he calls for my impeachment. You've seen the chaotic ways in which he has led the country. You see him lie and not have an understanding that tariffs are a hidden tax on Americans. So it is really important for us to recognize that we're not being led by the brightest of our nation.
In the midst of this climate, you certainly have seen your own threats to your life. Does it change at all what you say? Has it changed your behavior?
There's been a correlation between the level of death threats that I have and who has been the president. In Trump's first presidential administration, I had one of the highest death threats for a member of Congress, and it was because the president couldn't stop invoking his xenophobia and bigotry towards not just myself, but every identity that I represent, whether it is the fact that I am an immigrant that comes from Africa, the fact that I'm Muslim and black here in the United States. And, you know, I had 4 years of relative calmness with the Biden administration that shows the kind of leadership that Democrats present when they have the power. And then now we see death threats return. As soon as he got sworn in, we were swamped with death threats and bigotry in our office and almost every social media platform that you open up.
Where do things stand with this looming government shutdown with the deadline just about a little over a week away?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we have to remind the public, the Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. It is important for also the public to understand that they are refusing so far to negotiate with us.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, we thank you.
What a disgrace. ABC ought to be ashamed of herself. And this lady here, how did that Lindsay lady still got a job? You know, after what took place this past election, I'll tell you. You just can't make this up, man. You just can't. What y'all think of Ilhan Omar? Leave a beautiful comment down below.